I have kind of a fly problem here, to the point where I'm in an uneasy alliance with a group of spiders who are keeping the problem in check for now. Unbeknownst to these spiders, I'll probably betray them and kill them all at some point, but who knows, maybe they'll grow on me. Confidence is an unusual thing because it can be grounded within and justified by different lines of reasoning. It can come as the result of competence, experience, a track record, or by this sense of backing yourself and having self-belief, even though you might not have the evidence to back that up. It's important to note that this isn't a ranking of justifiable or accurate confidence, but rather simply the likelihood of possessing that trait. I'm not going to put an unlikely category on here because that might be beyond the purview of personality types. Everyone has their own path to developing confidence, but I think we can say who has a more direct or easier path to it based on their natural makeup. I was going to put a needs improvement category there, but that was too big to fit in, so I've got a can improve instead, which grammatically makes no sense. Being in the can improve category doesn't mean a type is at the bottom of a confidence hierarchy, but rather that I think they should have more of it, and that a lack of it might hold them back more so than other types. So think of it as a separate category altogether. Okay, so ESTP. I think the most natural kind of confidence is the belief that you can deal with the unknown, that you can contend with uncertainty and chaos without it throwing you off balance. There's the quote that your energy introduces you before you speak, and that captures the essence of ESTPs. ESTPs almost without exception have this confidence in copious amounts. Highly adaptable, clear-headed, flexible, in the moment, and realistic. Any type or person who is quick to take action is going to be confident either by definition or as a result. If anything, they're going to overestimate their abilities and not enter situations with contingency plans. I'm going to put them in highly likely. Okay, ISTPs. I often talk about the people problems that ISTPs have, and to be honest, that's kind of the only problems they have. When it comes to confidence, they're bold, adventurous, and often pretty fearless in situations that other people would be intimidated in. Thinking on their feet is something that they're known for, and if anything, they thrive more in crisis situations than they do in day-to-day ones. In fact, they might see themselves more as wartime people than peacetime. I don't think their people-related issues translate into a lack of confidence typically, so they're either going to be in likely or highly likely, but I'll put them at the top in highly likely. Okay, let's do INFJ next. Since INFJs are usually good with people, any potential lack of confidence they might have is often well hidden and might even come as a surprise to many people around them. As SE inferior types, there might be a certain level of performance anxiety when they need to act in real time. When they can move at their own pace and plan things out, they feel comfortable and in control. When things get chaotic though, they can struggle. INFJs are much more control-oriented than people realize, I think, so they can be thrown off their game by those things. They might also struggle to be ultra-confident when that requires contentious interactions, combative interactions, and bad feeling. So I'm going to put them in possible. That's because there are natural tendencies they'll have to overcome to develop confidence. ENFJs, even more so than INFJs, if an ENFJ isn't confident, they'll be able to hide it very well, which makes placing them quite tricky. It's hard for me to see them lacking in confidence. The only time they would is if their dominant FE makes their self-esteem fluctuate too much on other people's opinions, which is certainly a risk. I think that sometimes being too aware or self-aware of your placement in a group or how other people are perceiving you can get into your head sometimes, where you overthink interactions, second guess things, read into things too much. To an extent, confidence is the lack of desire to compare yourself to others. So because of those potential issues, I'll put ENFJs in likely as opposed to at the very top. Again, you're probably not going to see an ENFJ look visibly lacking in confidence. ENFPs? ENFPs are typically high energy dynamos, at least when the mood possesses them. I think they can fluctuate between immense, almost showmanship-like confidence and other moods where they're more reserved and even shy. So it's difficult to describe them as being fundamentally or naturally confident always. The question is which mood tends to be more common. I think that as a general rule, because they are upbeat, creative, and great conversationalists, they are naturally going to be well-liked, which brings about a certain baseline level of confidence. If anything, it's going to be their own dark side that gets in their way. So I'll put them in likely. ISFJs? ISFJs will learn the lessons of experience, not just their own, but other people's as well. It sounds like a simple thing, but it's rare. So as time goes on, their level of confidence exists on an exponential curve as they see more aspects of the world and life. I would still say that it's something they need to learn though, for two reasons. Being high FI users means other people's opinions will sway them too much, or they'll be deferential to the needs of other people. And having inferior NE means they'll have an uneasy relationship with uncertainty and chaos. If they're thrown into a completely new situation, they'll try to figure out how this new thing links back to something they already know, as opposed to just going for it head on in a forceful way like some other types would. I'm going to put them in possible. ENTJ. One of the best ways to assess or acquire confidence is to measure it with external metrics. If you are doing well based on widely accepted metrics of success and societal standards, then it's going to create this kind of positive feedback loop. You're moving the world and changing it in some way. ENTJs experience this pretty early on in life. They're compelled to take action and organize towards goals and therefore actually achieve things. Given the fact that, for better or worse, society judges a person by what they've achieved, ENTJs for the most part will play the game of life well and feel good about that fact. When people push back against them on something, or opinion is shifting away from them, they can tolerate that fairly well. If they need to argue their case, they certainly will. So I think I'll put ENTJs at the top in highly likely. Okay, ENTP. ENTPs happen to be good at things that are naturally valued. Creative, often charming, albeit in a wonky way at times, and able to keep up with the rapid pace of change in their field or in society at large. So their skill set is often desired and sought after. It's easy for them to be in demand. Although they can annoy themselves and others with a lack of follow-through or poor attention to details, it's not something that would dent their confidence in a big way lots of the time, since there's always something new to go after. On balance, I'll put ENTPs in likely. Okay, ESFJ. ESFJs aren't necessarily seen this way, but you could think of them as an extreme type. It's like they are on one end of the personality type spectrum as the ultra extroverts. Therefore, their confidence in social situations is going to be strong and natural. Being TI inferior types will give them a corresponding weakness, though, that can permeate into lots of different areas of their life. Since people-related confidence is perhaps the most common one, and the area where a lack of confidence trips people up the most, I think ESFJs belong in the likely category. Okay, ESFPs. If confidence is showing up in every single moment, like you're meant to be there, then ESFPs are the masters of this. ESFPs are always somehow comfortable in situations, even ones that might be pretty wild. That unflappable nature makes them extremely confident. Although they can certainly struggle in life with the whole linear nature of goals and careers, they still have an often supreme belief in themselves and their ability to act in the moment when it's time to strike. I'll put ESFPs at the top in highly likely. ESTJs. ESTJs are bold, authoritative, and feel quite at home in positions of leadership. Their confidence comes from their desire to be competent, something which they typically achieve in whatever field they happen to be interested in. In fact, this confidence in themselves is often what might rub people up the wrong way. They'd do well to tone things down in that regard, but I think ESTJs belong at the very top in highly likely. Okay, INFPs. So INFPs I've interacted with have often reported suffering with something along the lines of imposter syndrome. Even when they have all of the talent or skill required, there is this disinclination to pull the trigger, a reluctance to jump into action, possibly even a principled rejection of the kinds of things that are needed to succeed. There is an area, however, where they show a unique resolve and confidence. They know who they are and what they stand for. That might not seem like much, but there is definitely a dichotomy between people who can achieve anything and don't really know who they are, and people who know exactly who they are, but have no clue what to do with it. I could put them in possible, but I think they should go in can improve or needs improvement. This is mainly because I think that unearned confidence is seen as a dirty thing by INFPs, whereas I think that unearned confidence is something of a virtue. It's almost like they can see the game and even know how to play it well, but find it at best kind of cringy and at worst kind of depressing. Nonetheless, I think that INFPs would do well to turn the confidence dials up just a bit. INTJs. INTJs might be the most tricky one on this entire list. A complicated blend of low-key arrogance and brutal, self-critical honesty. No other type is more able to, and willing to, evaluate themselves through a very cutting lens. Although this is a strength, because it staves off delusion, it also means that self-doubt is easy to come by for them. Sometimes they can cross that threshold from realists into pessimistic realists, over-analyzing things, planning too much without executing, and not seeking out the opinion of others, or checking in with the current trends or landscape they're going into. They can become insular easily. I think I'm going to put INTJs in needs improvement or can improve. It's funny because most people would probably think that INTJs need to turn the confidence down a bit. Because they are such exceptional planners and schemers, they can lean into that too much. Sometimes it's better for them to just jump into something and come to terms with the fact that it's going to not be perfect and it's probably going to fail. And that's actually a good thing. It's the price of entry for many things, especially creative endeavors. So I think that INTJs need to cultivate the kind of confidence that will get them moving even when they don't feel completely ready. ISFPs. So ISFPs are not the types usually to be overtly confident in an in-your-face way. They have a self-contained assurance that is powerful, but probably not quite the conventional confidence. Confidence is less, will they like me, and rather, I won't care if they don't like me. In this sense, FI users can have an advantage over FE users, who will care about perceptions much more. Because they don't possess that kind of go-getting, aggressive mindset lots of the time, I think I'll put them in possible. ISTJs. Much like ISFJs, who have the same central imbalance, ISTJs in the right situations are the people you turn to when you yourself are uncertain. They can navigate treacherous waters and weather storms with a rock-solid attitude. The problems arise when the terrain is rapidly changing, in ways that don't have much precedent, where there is a sudden paradigm shift, and they have to update their skill set and adapt their approach. If they're not careful, that can catch them out in a big way. I'm going to put ISTJs in possible, because their level of confidence might be quite situation dependent. Okay, INTPs. INTPs will resonate with this sentiment of having a simultaneously arrogant and pessimistic view of themselves. Where this comes from, who knows? It might have to do with the contrast between the life within their minds and the one outside of it, i.e., reality. That gulf between potential and actualization, between conception and fruition. Two other relevant factors here are INTPs being slow to action and having difficulty with people. Perhaps a better way to phrase it is that INTPs often have self-doubt, dislike the irrationality of confidence, because it is kind of a fundamentally irrational thing, and can lack self-belief, but they still think they are more intelligent than everyone else. Such are the paradoxes of the INTP. I'm going to put INTPs in needs improvement or can improve, because there have been too many occasions where an INTP will show me something astonishing, and when I'll say, so what are you going to do with it? There'll be a whole long list of reasons why it's not the right time or it's not ready, and in my view those reasons should be 99% of the time thrown out.